Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unraveling a pretty fascinating mystery about human potential, the invisible psychology that quietly holds so many of us back. We're going to explore the architecture of a psychological trap that most people live inside of their entire lives without ever even noticing. Let's dive in. Have you ever noticed something just strange about how life unfolds for different people? I mean, picture two people who start out at exactly the same place. They go to the exact same school, they live in the same city, and they have access to the exact same internet, books, and opportunities. But fast forward 10 years, and their paths have completely diverged.
On one side, we have person A, who is quite literally living the life they used to dream about. And on the other, we have person B, who's still stuck in that loop of saying, maybe next year. So why does this happen? Well, most people immediately assume it's a gap in intelligence, or they just write it off as pure luck. But the truth is, both of those assumptions are completely wrong. The real reason isn't a lack of talent at all.
It really all comes down to the concept of invisible prisons. Think about two different traps for a second. A prison with thick iron bars versus a prison with absolutely no walls at all. Which one of those is actually harder to escape? Your instinct is probably to say the iron bars, right? But history and human psychology prove it's the second one. The wall-less prison is so much more dangerous. Why? Because you can fight something you can actually see, but you almost never fight something you believe is completely normal.
And that brings us to how we define the word average. We really need to stop looking at average as a specific salary bracket or a job title. Instead, average is a way of thinking. It's this invisible framework that quietly shapes every single decision you make until eventually it morphs into your actual identity. The uncomfortable truth here is that our lives aren't built by our grandest, biggest dreams. They're actually built by our smallest, repeated choices. Every single morning, you wake up to hundreds of these tiny forks in the road. Do I wake up right now or snooze for just 5 more minutes? Do I read one chapter of a book or do I endlessly scroll social media? Learn a new skill or watch just one more episode? Save this little bit of money or buy something I don't really need? The danger here is precisely that none of these choices feel like a big deal in the moment.
So, why do we fall into this trap? Well, there's a biological reason. Our brains are essentially ancient energy-saving machines. Thousands of years ago, conserving energy was how humans survived. Today, that exact same survival wiring tricks us into choosing what is easiest right now over what is actually best for our future. Your brain isn't asking, hey, will skipping this workout help me 5 years from now? It's literally just asking, what is the least uncomfortable option right this very second?
This ancient wiring traps us in a pretty fascinating 3-step identity loop. Step 1 is the behavior. Say, you avoid a difficult conversation because it's awkward and uncomfortable. Step 2, your brain internalizes a lesson, saying, okay, pew, we survived, this is fine. Then comes step 3, and this is the most dangerous part, the new identity. Your brain quietly updates your self-image to say, I guess we're just the kind of person who avoids conflict. Behavior always comes first. Identity simply follows the trail of your habits.
It's exactly like that famous metaphor of the frog in warming water. If you place a frog in a pot of water and turn up the heat super slowly, it never even notices the rising danger until it's too late. It's unsettling for sure, but human psychology works the exact same way. We rarely notice our own gradual decline. We don't just suddenly wake up and decide to be average. We just slowly accept slightly lower standards. We skip one deadline. We ignore one opportunity. Nothing terrible blows up immediately, so years just slip on by.
What makes this even trickier is another invisible force at play: social proof. Most people do not measure their progress by comparing themselves to their own true potential. Nope. Instead, they look around and compare themselves to their immediate surroundings. If everyone around you is procrastinating, your brain just assumes procrastinating is perfectly normal. If everyone is complaining or settling, your brain accepts that as the responsible, standard way to behave. This is what we can call the virus of average. And the key thing to wrap your head around is that this virus doesn't spread through bad advice, it spreads through pure observation. You become what you repeatedly see. So, take a quick second and evaluate your own environment. What do you hear most often when you walk into a room? Is it excuses? Is it fear? Or is it possibility? Because your environment is casting votes every single day on the person you are going to become.
Beyond our environment, the ultimate trap is our desire for certainty. Average thinking desperately craves certainty to protect its current comfort level. So the question is always, what if I fail? What if this doesn't work out? But highly successful people flip that narrative entirely. They ask, what will happen if I never try? One of these questions is designed to protect your immediate comfort.
The other is designed to protect your future.
Just look at how terrible the human brain is at understanding long-term growth. Check out this thought experiment. If you're offered ₹1,000,000 today, or one single rupee that doubles every day for 30 days, most people instinctively grab the million. But look at the math. By day 15, that doubling rupee is only at roughly $16,000. But by day 30, it has absolutely exploded to over 536 million. Our brains just completely fail to grasp the staggering exponential power of compounding effort.
Average people underestimate small improvements. Extraordinary people trust them. I mean, reading 10 pages a day or practicing a new skill for an hour feels totally meaningless in the moment. It feels exactly like having that one little rupee on day 2 or day 3. But that is exactly why success often looks completely invisible to the outside world, until it suddenly appears all at once.
Because success is largely invisible while it's compounding, we fall for a really dangerous illusion. We admire the outcome while totally ignoring the process. We see the athlete lifting the shiny trophy, but we don't see the lonely, freezing morning workouts. We see the unshakable confidence, but we ignore the hundreds of awkward, embarrassing moments that actually built it. Our brains desperately want the shortcut ending, but high performers know they have to pay that invisible cost up front.
So what steals our ability to commit to that invisible process? Usually, it isn't massive failure. It's something much quieter: distraction. Distraction shows up harmlessly as a single phone notification or a funny short video. But make no mistake, attention is your life's absolute most valuable currency. Whatever successfully owns your attention today will eventually own your future tomorrow.
And this leads us to a massive epidemic of fake productivity. Just because you are exhausted at the end of the day doesn't mean you've actually moved forward. Remember, movement is not progress. Activity is not growth. Being occupied with emails, texts, and putting out tiny fires all day long is definitely not the same thing as deliberately building something meaningful.
Think of your life like a plot of land. Weeds are your excuses and bad habits, and the thing about weeds is they grow completely automatically. You don't have to water them, they just appear. But a beautiful garden? That requires intentional habits and deliberate effort every single day. Average is effortless. Excellence is entirely deliberate.
Here's another huge reason people get stuck in the architecture of average: confusing information with transformation. People love to consume knowledge. We watch explainer videos, we read self-help books, we look up healthy recipes. But you don't actually become healthier by just reading a recipe. You have to physically stand up and cook the meal. Knowing what to do is very, very different from actually becoming the person who does it. It really comes down to this: action rewrites identity. Information only decorates it. You can plaster your walls with motivational quotes and cram your brain with life hacks, but until you repeatedly do the uncomfortable things, your core identity just won't shift. True confidence is earned through friction, not through passive consumption.
And where does that friction actually happen? Well, it doesn't happen on a grand stage or during a lightning bolt epiphany. It happens on an ordinary Tuesday. It's a silent, entirely unnoticed moment where you have a choice between what is easy and what is meaningful. Nobody is applauding you in your living room, but your future is being built inside that exact mundane moment.
So we need to completely redefine average. It is not a final destination that you accidentally arrive at. It is simply a daily vote. Your identity isn't something you magically discover on a mountaintop, it is accumulated, one single habit at a time. The fantastic news here is that you don't need to be a genius and you don't need perfect timing. You literally just need to cast enough daily votes in the right direction. Which brings us to our final provocative thought. Tonight, right before you go to sleep, don't ask yourself if you're talented or if you're successful yet. Ask yourself a much more precise and dangerous question. What did I vote for today? Because the person you're going to become tomorrow is already being decided by the tiny, invisible choices you made today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.